Hello everyone, happy Wednesday afternoon. It's been a great afternoon for me so far. Actually, I've had a great day all day. Got my clearance from my doctor on my cancer stuff, all good. So hey, the rest of it doesn't matter, does it? But anyway, I'm so happy. I almost forgot it was Wednesday today. I have a couple of announcements. Hi, Heather. Oh my gosh, I see comments. I'm so excited. It says there's a second person here, but I have no idea who. But anyway, I have my notes to remind you of a couple of things coming up with Stampin' Up. First, Stampin' Up has announced Cyber Monday special. It's a paper pumpkin special. Now they're calling this Cyber Monday December 1st, and they are having a special on prepaid subscriptions. So 3 months, normally $81, is going to be $61. A 6-month subscription, normally $162, it's going to be $122. And a 12-month prepaid, normally $324, is going to be $244. That's a deal. They have to start with December. And yeah, that my writing has become like chicken scratch. Starts with December. If you already have a subscription, you know you're going to get duplicates if you buy more than one, thinking that you can stretch them out or whatever. They have to start with December. So that is a cool special. That is a deal. And a lot of you, I don't have a lot of paper pumpkin people, but the people I do have really liked it a lot. And so that means, you know, if you've let it lapse or something, this is a great time to start back up, December 1st. Okay, the other thing I wanted to let you know is I noticed when I logged in, all of a sudden it had all this new stuff at the beginning. And what happened is when they changed to the new envelope packaging away from the like DVD case style, they changed the part numbers on a lot of items. And so the numbers on the items that are like these numbers, when they changed, they went in as a new item. So that's what happened. And you may see a few things listed under new that you know darn well are not new or aren't that new. And things may be shown a little out of order compared to how I shop. I always shop all, and the first things that you see are the newest items. I think UPS just showed up. And I left my door open today because finally the weather's nice enough to leave the door open for the dog. Okay, Moose, enough of that. Okay, thank you. He likes to let me know when there's strangers out there. Stranger danger. That's my Moose. Okay, anyway, the other big thing I wanted to let you know, I'm marking today with the Peaceful Days Scrapbooking Workshop, and it is really, really beautiful. I can't wait to show it all to you. But I have an extra, and I have decided to give it away as a random draw of anyone who orders from me during the month of November. So you have the opportunity to win this. It will just be a random draw based on anyone who orders. You get your name in the drawing for every $25 that you spend on using me as your demonstrator. I think that's a great deal. This is not a cheap workshop, right? So this is a really fun project. I've already put some of it together and I will show that to you. I want to show you the papers, And I want you to know right off the bat, I don't really love doves. I don't know why there are doves in all of this, but here they are. So I didn't use the doves. Anyway, so there's this side on the back of the doves. There's this side with the hydrangea type flowers. The other side is this secret sea with stars. Then there's this page that has, this is like my favorite print in the whole thing. And the back has this cloud cover grid. And then you have a couple of, those are like specialty pages. And it doesn't look like they're much, but there's a, like a watercolor sort of print on here. I guess you can see it in my light. And then this is a specialty paper also, and then you get all the cardstocks and all the punch outs that you need to create the pages. And so this is the workshop you'll get. You get the photo holders, the whole shebang. I will mail this to the person. I will be drawing the first week of December. That way I can tell you, I can give you a full opportunity to shop with me. So anybody at every $25 worth of orders, my name is Connie Hart and I am in Illinois. There used to be a second Connie Hart under there and I can't remember where she was from. When I search Connie Hart now, I only pull up myself. So I don't know if she's still around or if it's just the way it works now that I'm a demonstrator. But if you shop with me as your consultant, you'll be in the draw for that. Okay, boom. Put that aside. Woo! Okay, oh, and Friday. Wow, Friday's going to be a big day. Oh, Christy, hi. I'm really glad you're here because I have decided I'm opening my Tailored Expressions Advent Calendar. Start to finish, I'm opening the whole thing. It's going to be a total spoiler. I can't help it. I love it so much. And I don't want to spoil it for everybody. If you don't want to see it, don't watch. I'm also going to show you what I bought from Daisy Lane on Friday, and I'm going to show you a few of the items that I've made from the Crop and Create event. So Friday's kind of a show and tell, and so it may be, you know, your thing or it may not be your thing. We'll see. I would love to see you there. I have like I would say two boxes out of all the boxes that I sold. I have 2 boxes left of stuff and I am to the point where I'm ready to give it away. And so for my Facebook people, I'll let you know, I'll go live and show that. And you can tell me if you'd like any of it and I'll, you know, and you just pay shipping or, we'll figure something out, but that'll be for my Facebook group. Okay, Peaceful Days. This is the scrapbooking workshop. You get the instructions with it. And what I decided to do, I like the pages very much. I decided to cut them out identically to how these are cut. So I did the exact cutting instructions for all of the pages. And then I started to put them together, but I made a few tweaks. So I just want to show you the things that I changed. So let me move that aside just a little bit. All right, so for layout number 1, let me make sure you can see it in my window here. I may have to expand out a little. Yeah, I think my giveaway thing, I'll either do it Friday or Saturday. If you guys have a preference, let me know. Okay, so here is the layout number 1 project. And what you can see is that it uses that specialty paper in the background. It has these two circles, and then the title is a circle, and then it has different pieces and parts that you put around. The other thing that you can see is it has strips that you cut that go on top of the circles, surprisingly on top of the circles. I thought they'd go behind. I thought I would like them better behind, and I was kind of playing with that a little bit, moving these strips behind the circles, and I decided the photos cover up so much it doesn't make that much of a difference. So I just did it the way they called for it. Now the other thing is this layout has 2 4x4 on the left side and a 4x4 and 2 3x3s on the right side. Now I can tell you that my photos, I tend to take a lot of large photos. Sorry, my light is glaring. I tend to take a lot of larger sized photos that can't be cut down. Like there is no way to cut that down. I'd have to reprint it as a 4x4. And I like to get my pictures printed at Walgreens whenever I can, because they have such great sales. And so, hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can move my light so I don't have so much glare. Sorry. And so I wanted to use a full-size photo here, and I was prepared to do it horizontally or vertically, whichever I needed. But I went ahead and went vertical and decided to make this one my little dog Moose. And you'll see on the right-hand side, I did the same thing. There's a 3x3, a 3x3, and the 4x6, right? So I changed the sizes of the photos a little bit. The other thing is I rearranged this right-hand side because I wanted to see these strips a little bit more. So that's all I rearranged. And you know, I don't like doves, and there's a dove on every single layout. There's a dove, and I was like, I have a lot of doves left if anybody is interested in doves. But I took that off and I rearranged my parts and pieces. I started out with all the parts and pieces for layout 1, and I threw them all together and I used them however I wanted instead of putting them exactly in the same place. Now you'll notice some of them were exactly the same place, right? I kind of did some of the same things, but not a lot actually on this one. I kind of put this in the same place, but I moved it. Anyway, so I really like how this turned out. I love that I already have I already had my pictures printed, and I have my journaling done, and I added just a little bit of bling. I have some retired bling. These are like the iridescent dots or whatever, and I liked how they looked on here. I just felt like it needed it. I think there's a lot of different bling that would have worked great on here. So that is layout 1. Layout 2, I'm gonna flip. Well, layout 2 is this layout right here. Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying something that I don't want to turn you guys off, but I do want you to know that this paper with the hydrangeas on it, I don't know why it looks like spores or micro, I don't know. I don't like the bug look. It really does look like something I've seen under a microscope. I don't like that paper. And so I like this paper. I like this paper. This is my favorite paper. And there's hardly any of it in this whole kit. Do you see that? On layout 3, there's like none of it. Layout 1, there's just a few strips of it that you can't even hardly see. And then they used that flower paper that is not my favorite. And so I switched some of the papers around, and instead I made the exact same cuts. I cut all of the cuts the same, but I flipped in this paper right here. And then instead of that paper being the stripes in the background, can you see? You can barely see that paper. But instead of using this paper in the background, you can see I subbed in some of the microbiology paper to the back. And if you flip the hydrangea paper over, you get these cool, the star paper. So I used some of it. So I did do a little, tweaking. Thistles, yeah, okay, thistles. I think they're hydrangeas. I think that's what they are supposed to be. I haven't asked anyone, but that's what my guess is. I just think they look like, I don't know. They're not pretty in my book. I don't want a whole page of it. We'll just say that. Now the specialty, every scrapbook workshop has an optional technique, and in this one it is embossing with an embossing folder. And this embossing folder that they recommend is this Peaceful Greenery embossing folder, 165928. It's really nice. I got it as part of the suite, and I like that it makes a really nice frame. I haven't used it a lot, but I'll tell you what, I used it on this paper, and I like how it looks. I think it looks outstanding. So that's kind of a cool effect. The first and the third page have that embossing folder that you use. This page does not. Okay, so I went ahead, I made this exactly the same. If you look, honestly, I did. Here's the Good Times title in the corner, and it's down here. I did not put the dove on. Instead, I held over one of the die cut pieces from layout 1. And to balance it, I put one over here too. So I have 2 of the die cut pieces from layout 1. I flipped it to layout 2. And then otherwise, I just used all the other parts and pieces that it called for on the punch outs and the sticker sheet. And I did this layout. Now, I love this design because you can do what you want with your photos. So if you want to do a bunch of 4x4s, you could put one here, here, here. You could have 3. You could have what they call for is one up here. Sorry, that's upside down. That's really annoying. One here, and then in the corner is a 2x3, a smaller size. And I put my embellishments on with foam tape so that I could slide a photo underneath. Do you see that? And I think I made mine so that I could use the 4x4s, because again, it's not that I mind having a few 2x3s or 3x3s, but I don't want a lot of them. And I decided I have photos already for this. I just have to get them out and put them on. Of a family gathering that we just had, and most of the photos are going to be 4x6. We have a giant photo of all of us together, and there's like over 30 people in the picture. It's one of those ones where we set up the camera and all, and the timer and all that to get all of us. And I think it would be outstanding as a 5x7 right here. So I may do a big 5x7 here, and maybe something small in the corner, and then depending on what else I have, I will fiddle around with this, right? Because I like that you can rearrange your photos any way you want on a layout like this. And it's really sweet to have my favorite paper on here. It makes me love this layout so much. And I did not add a single thing out of my stash to this other than foam tape. Oh, yes, I did. Shh. Yes, I did. I did add one thing. Holy crap. I'm sorry. Okay, so if you look at the edges of this crumb cake paper, I thought it needed a little more pop. So I got into my stash and I pulled out some pecan pie right there. So right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It is true. Heather, I think it's not that this is not beautiful. It's that it's too busy it's too much for me. And this is busy too. It's just a different scale. But what I like about it is you can tweak this. If you have a favorite paper in the pack, you can tweak it. You can do what you want to do with it. So for part 3, I was starting to put it together, and then I was like, well, I can show people this. And so I kind of put the parts and pieces in a stack. And I want to show you. Hold on. Gotta grab the page. So here is page 1, easier to see on the page where it's prepared. This is how they want you to prep your they have you cut a piece, to make corners on each corner. And normally when I put my colored cardstock through an embossing folder, I spritz it with water and then put it through. And I did not this time. And so some of it cracked just a little bit and you can see the white through. And I kind of like that you can see the white through. And so what I did, I grabbed my white pigment ink. This is pigment ink. And I'm just gonna kind of run it over. I don't want to do that on top of my paper. I'm just gonna kind of run it over just a little bit. And the idea is to catch the edges and lighten them up a little. Now you could do the exact same thing with a darker ink and make them darker. But I just thought, as long as I'm fiddling around with this, since, there's a way to fix every little thing that bothers you. And the thing that bothered me was that it cracked just a little bit and showed that white. So I'm just going to emphasize it with that ink. And I like that a lot. Okay. All right. So I go, and then let me just put this one aside. I'll put this down so you can see. And I'm just going to put pieces off to the side here so that we can work on this. All right. I'm trying to make some space. My desk, it feels very small when I'm on camera. Everything has to be in such a little tiny space. All right, so basically we're using the light side of crumb cake as the background. And I always fiddle around with, do I like the dark side better or the light side better? And I do like the light side better. And then basically our next step is to attach our corner and this blue piece in the corner, and then this piece of pecan pie here. That's kind of the general layout. I am going to go, one thing that I am tweaking on this is when I laid it out, I thought, you know, one of the things that this paper suite has as an option is glitter paper. And this glitter paper is very stunning, okay? It has 3 different colors. One of them is cloud cover, or if you're a close to my heart person, it's the old seafoam. It's beautiful. And then it has the blue, bright blue, and then it has the secret sea. And I have been messing around with this glitter paper and kind of hoarding it a little bit and using it in dribs and drabs here and there because I want to make some cards using it. But I just made a 1/4 inch strip, and I'm going to add that 1/4 inch strip to this strip here. I don't know. I just think it will add to the layout, add a little bling. I really like the bling. Now see, if you are not crazy about the stars, you could add the microbiology flowers to there. And that is beautiful. That actually looks, I like it better here than I did on the other page. It's not quite so overwhelming. But that is one thing that I really do like, is that you can tweak these to be what you want, right? All right, so I'm adding the stars as it shows. And then now the back of that paper that I love is this cloud cover grid right here. And of course I used that paper that I love on a different paper, on a different layout. So I have to figure something else out for that stripe. So out of my scraps, I had these flowers and I thought, well, okay, that's what I'm using. I'm going to use those. So let me get my glue going here. And I'm going to put these on. Now, I know this doesn't look directional, but in my head, there's a direction to it. The flowers kind of have a way of bending so that there's an up and a down. And so look at your strip before you use that. Make sure you don't put it on upside down. Now the other piece that I want to add that bling. And so right next to there, I'm going to add a strip of glue and a little glitter. So today, just so you know, this week, Stampin' Up! For demonstrators, they have, isn't that pretty? I love the addition of that. Let me just show you. Cool. Stampin' Up! Has their, what they call backstage, and backstage is a leadership event. You have to have a certain level in leadership to participate, and it's in Las Vegas, and it's one level above me, so I of course cannot participate. I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'm going to add the glue to this piece, and then that way I don't have to decide exactly where it goes on my page yet. I can just glue it to the blue cloud cover piece, and then I can move it around as a whole, unless it leaks out like that. Good job. I put adhesive on. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this here. Now I'm eyeballing this. My instructions tell me exactly to put this over like 1 1/4. I totally eyeballed it, and I think I'm pretty close. Good enough. And then there's this there is this piece, which is a sticker. Just so you know, I always cut all my sticker pieces apart like this, my sticker sheets. I cut them apart and I separate them out. And that way I can decide if I want, you know, where I want things on a page, if I'm going to tweak them or whatever. Now I have some flags to tuck in at the top. So I left some blank space up here. And I'm just going to put that there. So the flags at the top, there is this one that looks like a tag, which is a sticker. And, you know, I decided, I'm like, I really kind of like how this looks. So I'm just going to put it right where they show it. There's a sticker actual flag that goes, it actually goes a little behind this one. And then there is a blue piece, and I just took one of my scraps and I'll cut that. Anyway, the backstage thing, it looks very exciting. They're learning lots of stuff. They have special speakers. They get lots of attention and recognition for their leadership. I think that's amazing. I was recognized for sales and team building, but I just don't have the level yet to be able to attend those kind of events, but that was really exciting. All right, so I'm going to pop this up on just a little bit of foam, and it goes here. And look, I made it exactly like the picture so far. Do you see that? It's identical. I haven't changed a thing. I love it. I love it just the way it is. Just like that. I wouldn't have to add anything else but photos and I'd be pretty happy. They have it set up to, they have their documentation here, the words best day ever down here, and then some trees. And then I started thinking about this, because do I want trees on this paper? This is going to be, for me, this is going to be a naked layout essentially. And if I don't use it for something outdoorsy, then the trees are going to be weird. So I started thinking about what I would use this for. And I think what I'm going to use this for is, I have photos of every year we do a live nativity event. We attend. We don't participate. We just attend it. And it is so lovely and so wonderful. And I think it's going to be perfect on here. And I think that I'm going to have room for maybe even getting out my nativity stamps and making an image, like even if I have, the main nativity scene here, I'm going to have page 2 for more pictures, but I could even do a stamped image here, and I think that would be really lovely. The best day ever, I'm not totally sure that's what I want my title to be. I'm going to set it here, but I'm not sure about that yet. And so I'm going to keep it with my page. So for those of you who are like, I don't know, this isn't for me, this isn't, I don't think I would use a page with all these trees and all this stuff on it or whatever, just keep the parts together. Use a paper clip or a binder clip and clip everything loose together, and you may find that it's perfect. You might find the most perfect pictures for this. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a strip here. This strip I peeled off, and I'm going to put this in a way so that I'll be able to put my picture underneath, okay? The idea is to be able to slide a photo. This is going to cover my photo just a little bit. So I need to be able to slide a photo underneath of it when I'm ready, you know? And so I'll be able to lift that, put this in place, and then take that backing off and adhere it down if I want, or just leave it loose like that. Once it's in a page protector, you don't see that anyway. But that's the idea behind that. And then basically this page is done. Now, you know, this page needs bling in a major way. I kind of like this here. I like to kind of fiddle around with where I like my embellishments. And so I tend to move them around a little bit. But there is the left side of page 3. I really like how it looks. Page 4 is on the other side. That's my only beef with these instructions, is that I like to see the 2 pages side by side, here and here. I wish they were side by side instead of front and back. That's my only beef with the instructions, seriously. I really love how these are. Okay, so on this right side, we're doing more of the same. It's almost a duplicate layout, right? Let me just slide stuff off. All right, so we're going to put the stars to the right. Well, Christy, if you purchase in November, you will be in the running for a free one. That's all I can say. I think I have few enough customers. Your odds are good. How's that? So for every $25 that you spend, your name will go into the drawing for a free one. I love it though. Love it. And I liked this paper so well that I think I bought 3 of the paper packs, which seems extreme, but I like the paper in it to the point where I was thinking this is what I'm going to use for my main Christmas cards. And that was kind of before I started making all my main Christmas cards. All right, this has a little flag at the bottom. And if you want to be more precise, which is probably a fabulous idea, you could measure the center. Like sometimes I'll get out my ruler or use my mat and cut this, make sure I'm at the center, because I have a tendency to be wonky one side or the other. Or you can eyeball it, you know, hey. But I don't even notice the wonkiness myself later, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I'm just going to go ahead and attach that down. Does anything get tucked in the side of this? Okay, just making sure. And if you look at this, this goes about 3/4 inch from the top and about almost 5 inches in from the side. I'm just gonna center it here and here. I like the idea of the same amount here as here. I'm just eyeballing that, okay? And I'm trying to center it with my eyes from top to bottom. I know I'm a little off there, but close enough, right? We have our corner piece that slides in here, just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and now look at the debossed side. Isn't that beautiful? That would be really pretty too. And also, whichever side you choose to use, light or dark, you can really change how this corner piece looks. It's pretty neat. All right. I'm gonna chop this bottom off just a second. I just chopped some off, and that way I can put it down here. There. All right. Now I did cut my photo. Now my photo mats, I always like to leave at least a 1/4 inch on them. And so here's how these are arranged. There is a half circle sticker that is going to go over here to the side. And because I have this weird angled piece right here, I really do want that to cover that corner edge. So I'm going to put it right there, like almost like a continuation. That's just how I like it. All right, so there's that, and there's that, and there's that. The journaling, the thing about the journaling is I have on the left-hand side some journaling space here. I could always cover that up with a photo, right? I could always cover it. And then this goes over here. So it needs a balance piece in white to balance this out. But I think I might be able to do my manger scene stamp right there. And I love that idea. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a few things in place. First, these. Now, I use the dark side of the pecan pie because I like it on this paper a lot. I like that contrast. But if you like the lighter side, there's no reason not to do it. And I'm scooching my photos to the left a little more than what they have in the picture, because I really want to be able to add some stamped images to this. I didn't get them out today, so I'm kind of bummed that I did not do that. I am going to have a photo tucking under here. And so usually what I do is I take a piece of sticker paper. So here's the sticker paper it came off of. And I just take off all of that. And then I just have this slick piece, right? It's just a slippery piece. And I'm just gonna tuck that under and put this down where I want it. Looks like it tucks under here too. Hold on a minute. Gotta get my fingernails together here. All right, so I'm gonna tuck this under like this. When I am ready with my stamped image and with my photo, I can pull this out and then stick it all the way down. So that'll be amazing, right? Perfect. And then this will be on here under this piece and tucked down. Now, I'm leaving it kind of easy to pry off in case I want to tuck my image in here. And I think I will. I'm pretty sure I will. And then over here, I have this sticker, same kind of situation. I could do foam tape or I could do the sticker sleeve trick. I kind of like the idea of it being popped up a little bit. So let me get my tape. Oof. You can believe that it landed on my floor. Hold on a minute. You can believe that I beg Stampin' Up! In their suggestion box all the time for our rolls of tape instead of only dimensionals. I mean, these dimensionals are pretty amazing, but the rolls of tape are where it's at. I need that for scrapbooking. Sorry, I'm doing all this stuff off camera. It landed on my floor. It got moose hair on it. I'm trying to make sure I don't get moose hair on my layout. That's so weird. What a weird problem. But it is mine. That's what happens when you have a giant black dog. All right, so I'm gonna put this here like this. And I made it so I could slide my photo under pretty easily. And then this piece right here, I'm gonna pop it up too. And I know why they put it here. They put it here to block this gap that's in here that looks kind of weird. But I'm gonna put mine, I think I'm gonna put mine here. And then I'll put some words in here. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The other piece the last piece I have to put on is this little piece right here. It's just like a little date stamp, and I think it's perfect right up there. There we go. All right, so here's layout 3, just like that. I even use the microbiology paper for the stripes. I like how it looks. It looks just fine. Substituting, because all these papers kind of work together. You can mix and match them a little, and it doesn't make a big, a big difference. It does in my head because I wanted that other paper. And I'm going to hold on to this for later. Now, that is the whole kit, but you end up with scraps. And I want to show you, let me move this out of the way. As you cut all the pieces, it's like, well, everywhere it's white is a scrap. Here's a big scrap. Here's a big scrap. Here's a big scrap. Look at all the scraps. You end up with a lot of leftover parts and pieces of the cardstock and papers. And so you could easily make some cards. You could easily make some another layout. And so what I did, I grabbed 2 sheets of white and 1 sheet of the pecan pie, because I like how the pecan pie looks with this paper, okay? And I just took my strips that I had left over. Look at this. I just want to show you what I did. All right. I have doves. Anybody like them? I can send them to you. I suppose I might be able to use them on some of my Christmas cards or something, but I have 4. If you like them, let me know. I'll send them your way. This all smiles. I'm on the fence about all smiles. A lot of my pictures, I don't have all smiles. So I was afraid to glue it down. But let me just show you what I did with the strips. All right, so this was a strip. I just cut it down to 6 1/4. It was, I think it was 7, it was like 7 or 7 1/4, and I cut it down as a 6 1/4 strip. I had already had some a quarter inch strip of this little brown pattern here, and so I added the pecan pie. And so I just thought this is perfect to add. I can put this on the edge, use my strips. I should just glue them down while we're talking, but here you go. And then I had this as a leftover piece, which I thought about cutting in half and doing a banner at the top and a banner at the bottom. You know how you can, it's not quite long enough for what you need, but you can make it work, that kind of thing. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna do the banner cut. And we'll have one here at the top. And then I'm gonna take this other piece and do the banner cut. And do one at the bottom. And then I have this leftover piece of cloud cover, and you could use the dark or the light side. I kind of like the light side. And by putting it here, it makes it look like this piece is the entire stretch, right? So if I put it there, and then I just have like a 4x4 that I thought could go down there. Or I could do a stamped image right here. And then over here, I was thinking for my family get together, you know, I have enough space here to just do photo, you know, just lines of photos. I could do flip flap. I could do an embellishment down here with a bit of a title. So this makes a really nice generic back page for a 4th layout. And the only thing I added to this page was that strip of pecan pie. And then on this side, I added several strips of pecan pie. So I wanted to make sure that I had some on this page so it would transfer to both pages. And I wanted to make sure that I had the same colors on both pages. So here is a strip. See, it could easily be the other side. Yeah, I think it's directional though. I wouldn't want it sideways. So I like the stars like that. And then I thought it would look really cool with a little strip of white and then the pecan pie. And then this is just a piece straight up out of the workshop kit. And then I added a 1/4 inch strip, leave a tiny sliver of white, add the cloud cover, and then I cut this in case I need it. But the truth is, I think I would do a title up here in pecan pie or in Secret Sea. And then you have this whole area to work with for where you want more photos to be. So you can rearrange your photos any way you want. You can mat them if you want to. I don't think they would need mats. This looks really nice just the way it is. But here's where I like the idea of having the 3x3s. I do need a few small photos to balance my layout. I know I took some photos. A lot of times when I'm taking photos from the kitchen of all my family who are in the living room, I end up with a great picture of Janet and a terrible picture of Robert or something, you know, where you have to cut the pictures up. You have to trim people out or whatever. And so this is a great place to use those kind of photos that you're going to be trimming down. And the all smiles may work here with my another 4x6, maybe with a flip flap so I can put more photos on it. The other thought, I love this layout. Just this layout is pretty great. I got into my stash and I had this old Hope and Kindness. You can see I don't have a lot of it left, but I have pieces and parts of it left that kind of have fallen in the bottom. I have these paperboard shapes that I think would work perfectly on this paper, with this paper. This is happy. I have the word sweet You see how a title would look really good up there. I can mess around with this a little bit and make this what I want it to be, using up a lot of these pieces. Now, I know a lot of you have pieces like this, lots of little hearts and flowers and butterfly. A butterfly. No. I get tired of butterflies, but the flowers and stuff, I have a lot of things that I think will work really well on this, just in my stash, which means you probably do too. And that means I made a 4th layout using up my scraps. All I have left are the other scraps I have in my pile. I kind of cut this piece, I kept this piece thinking that I might want to make a tab or something on the sides of these photos or on the top, you know, cut this down and add a little more of that color. That's the cloud cover color. So this is all I have left right there. This is a card that we made in an event that they held for consultants when this kit came out. And this, every time someone comes into my craft room, this card draws their eye. This card is so simple and so eye-catching. And I think it's the white and the blue together. But it's been handled a lot, so it's gotten a little smudgy. But I've kept it as a template because, you know, I have all these panels and things in my room from embossing folders and stuff. And I thought, how simple would this be to just do a whole bunch of strip style cards? And basically, I mean, if you wanted to use the doves, you could. And you could do them vertically. There's no reason you can't. So, you know, you just kind of measure that. I just think this is a pretty clever way to make a card. I'm just trying to make these approximately the same size. And I can just use up all these little strips and scraps. Right? All right, so what if I put it this way and then put a message here and an embellishment here? I've essentially got the same card, right? It's just a little different. And if it's too wide, you can cut them down, because that is sort of the beauty of that card, is that some of the strips are the same width. Close enough. Right? So there's that, there's one. And look, I just used scrap. I'm using my scraps, people. And how cool is that? I had these 2 stickers left. I could not figure out where they went. I think that that would be pretty easy to ink up and add to a little embellishment here. I like it. I think this is a cool idea. And so I hope that you use up your pieces left over from your kit. I kind of like just using strips for stuff. Let me cut this a little bit. I put this here and this here, and then this in the middle, I could stamp, I could put an image up here with a circle, and I could put some words right here. There's another one that I like that. So you get the drift, right? You get the idea. You could do a puzzle style card where you know, make blocks that fill your space. You just need something here. I don't know what. You just trim that down, and then you have a card front for another panel, right? I like that. There you go. There's the ideas. Use up the scraps, throw them away, whatever. I will probably throw a lot of these away. I'll make 2 or 3 cards with the, like what I just did, add a few images and call that done. Okay, the last thing I just want to show you, these are the embellishments that kind of go with this suite, and these are the little tiny flowers, and that is what is on this card right here and here. And I just wanted to show you, there's like 4 colors in the different blues and white, and there's blue and white. You can't go wrong. It's beautiful. So look how great that looks. The other thing this has on it is a little of that tan twine. So it's all blue and white except for that. That's kind of something. That's something to keep in mind as I'm making these, is that, maybe, you know, I do need to do all blue and just a tiny bit of the twine or something. So, all right, that is what I have today. I can't wait to see you Friday. Remember, Friday is going to be essentially a non-Stampin' Up! Day. It's going to be a show and tell of all the stuff that I have on my table. If I showed you my table, it's embarrassing. But I didn't buy as much at Daisy Lane as I normally do, so it won't take very long to show you what I purchased. I sold almost everything, and what I do have left I'm giving away, so I'll let you know when that is. And yeah, we'll talk about it Friday. I want to open up that advent calendar. Christy, get out your advent calendar. We'll open it together. I can't wait. It's a total spoiler. I probably signed some release with them not to open it. I don't know, but I'm opening. And I'll give a spoiler so that people won't be disappointed. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon.